So welcome to Naresh IT Technologies. My name is Mahesh. I'm taking Java and Android technologies training in Naresh IT. Okay. So in our last class we discussed what is Android. We discussed in my previous video. Okay. So in this video I'll explain you why Android. So because there are a lot of other mobile platforms are there like iPhone, iOS, a Windows, a BlackBerry, a Symbian. We are having different mobile platforms are there. Then why we had to choose Android for mobile? Okay, so let's see here why Android, because Android is having some unique features. We'll discuss what is the features of Android. We'll discuss in this session. Okay, the first main advantage and great advantage of Android is nothing but Android is open source. Open source means what? I'll get this answer from a lot of people. If I ask what is open source means, the people will get the answer like it's a free of cost. But the exact definition of open source means nothing but the complete source code will be exposed to the users, can see the code and can modify the code according to his requirement. Okay, this is open source. Let me explain on the best example for this open source. There are two mobile manufacturing companies. Let's take one is Samsung, one more thing is Motorola. There are two mobile manufacturing devices. In these two devices, Samsung and Motorola devices, internally both are using a common platform called Android. In Samsung is using Android, okay, in its devices, as well as Motorola is also using what? Android. Okay, so these two mobile manufacturing companies are using a common platform called what? Android. Android is a open source, meaning the complete source code is exposed. The user can see the code and modify the code according to his requirement. So see here, Samsung and Motorola, these two devices are working on what? Android. If you switch on a Samsung phone, in both devices we have to get the common screens, right? In both devices we have to get the common screens and common applications we have to get. If both are working on Android, we have to get, in both devices we have to get the common screens and common applications we have to get. But are you getting in the same way? No, we are not getting, right? So if you switch on Samsung phone, if you switch on, you will get Samsung welcome screen, a Samsung built-in applications you will get. If you switch on Motorola device, if you switch on a Motorola built-in applications, Motorola welcome screen you will get. See how you are getting the different applications and different screens? Reason is nothing but this. See, they are using Android, right? So both are using a common platform called Android. So in both devices we had to get the common screens and common applications we had to get. But we are not getting in that format because Android is open source. Samsung people, they will modify the code according to their requirement. Motorola people, they will modify the code according to their requirement. So in place of the default screen, a Samsung people, they will replace with Samsung screen. So Motorola people, they will replace that screen with Motorola. Okay, and in place of the default applications, Samsung people, they will replace with their applications. Motorola people, they replace with what? Their applications. Okay, one of the main advantage of Android is what? Open source, meaning the complete source code is exposed to the user. A user can see the code and modify the code according to his requirement. This is one example. It's a Samsung and Motorola devices, both are working on a common platform called Android, but we are not getting the common screens and common applications we are not getting because Samsung people, they will modify the code according to their requirement. Motorola people modify the code according to their requirement. Okay, so this is a first advantage and great advantage of what? Android. Okay, the reason why Android became that much popular is that is the first reason. This is the first reason why Android became that much popular. Android is what? Open source. Okay, the second advantage of Android is, let's take even though it's open source, meaning everything is visible, but imagine just you had to write 1,000 lines of logic you had to write just for printing a hello world program. So will you prefer to learn Android? Definitely will not prefer to learn Android, and we only say developing Android applications is too complex, better than that let's take some other easy technologies. Okay, but here now that complexity is not there in case of Android, we don't have the drawback. So developing Android applications are easier compared to other technologies in the market now. So how it is easier? How it is easier is with the help of application framework. In our previous video, when I was discussing about Android architecture, there is one component called application framework. Basically, application framework, what application framework will provide? Application framework will provide infrastructures for application developer. Okay, as a developer, you have to know how to use these ready-made libraries in your application. So here, another feature of application or another feature of Android is nothing but application framework. Application framework is another feature of Android. So what this application framework is providing? application framework is providing infrastructures for application developer, and application framework is providing what? Infrastructures for application developer with the help of ready-made libraries. So as a developer, just you have to know how to use those ready-made libraries in your application. Okay, this is the second advantage of what? Android. Open source application framework provides infrastructures for developing the applications. So developer no need to write the huge amount of low level logic or the native logic no need to write. With the help of this application framework, as a developer, just you have to know how to use these ready-made libraries in your application. Okay, this is the second feature of Android. The third feature of Android is nothing but DVM. This DVM is optimized for mobile devices, meaning specially designed for the mobile devices, which is used to work on the low power, low memory and the low RAM capacity. So compared to other mobile devices, so let's take Android will give the better performance because of this DVM. So DVM we already discussed in the last video what exactly DVM is. Dalvik virtual machine. Okay, this DVM is optimized for mobile devices to work on low power comma memory and RAM. This is another advantage. Okay, so this is especially designed, it's a customized JVM, it's customized JVM to work on the low power, low memory and the low RAM. Okay, this is another advantage of what? Android. Okay, so these are very high level discussions like open source, application framework, DVM and all. Okay, apart from these things, every Android device is having a database called SQLite database. SQLite database is used to maintain structured data in Android. Like you want to store some data, you want to store some data you want to store in Android. So by default, every Android device is having a database called what? SQLite database. So in this SQLite database, you can store the structured data. Like you want to maintain some relation database, you can use this SQLite database you can use. Let's take for example contacts, where your contacts is stored, where your device contacts is stored. Let's take call log, where your device call log information is stored. Okay, so SQLite database. So SQLite database is used to maintain what? Structured data. If you want to maintain in your application, so then use what? SQLite database. By default, every Android device is having the SQLite database. So explicitly we don't need to install any separate software kind of thing you need to install to get this SQLite database. By default, every Android device is having what? SQLite database. Okay, this is the next advantage. Next, every Android device supports GPS. I hope you guys are aware of that. What exactly is GPS? By using this GPS, we can get the device current location we can get by using the GPS. So by default, every Android device is having what? A GPS. By using this GPS, we can get the current location we can get. Okay, and every Android device supports GPS and different media formats. Like you can play different types of audio files, different types of video files you can play in Android. So because Android supports what? Different types of media formats. Okay, this is another advantage. And there is a library called, there is a native library called OpenGL ES is one of the native library. OpenGL ES is one of the native library. By using this OpenGL ES library is used to display in graphics. See earlier, if you take the Nokia Symbian kind of devices, at that time we don't have these kind of advanced games like Temple Run, Subway Surface, Asphalt, like these kind of games, applications are not available at that time. So in Android, for displaying the graphics, high-end graphics if you want to display in Android devices, so internally we are having a graphic library called what? OpenGL ES is a graphic library. By using this, it's a native library. By using this native library, we can display very rich graphics, high-end graphics you can display in Android by using this OpenGL ES. It's a native library. Okay, and the next advantage of Android is nothing but we are having an IDE called Android Studio. Android Studio provides a rich development environment. See earlier when the Android is launched, there is no any official IDE for developing the Android applications. Okay, so at that time, so we used to develop the Android, we use Eclipse we used for developing the Android applications. Okay, at that time Eclipse is preferred for developing the Android applications, but now here Android is officially given an IDE for developing the applications, that is nothing but Android Studio. As a developer, initially let's say I faced some problems with this Android Studio environment. Now I felt some complexity with this Android Studio. I felt that at that time I'm very comfortable with Eclipse, but now I'm telling you Android Studio is very comfortable, more comfortable than the Eclipse. Okay, it is providing a lot of built-in tools for developing your applications. Okay, so it provides some very good environment for developing the applications, like a drag and drop for creating the user interface, and we are having some, you don't need to add any third party libraries. By default with the Android Studio itself you will get some libraries like the Google Play Services libraries. Okay, and by default with the Android Studio itself we got a tool called Android Firebase. Like lot of, for the developing Android applications, what are all the tools are required, so those tools automatically you will get with the Android Studio itself, you will get all those tools. So that kind of support is not there in case of Eclipse. We had to add some third party libraries for each and every functionality, but here Android Studio is really good, really good an IDE for developing the Android applications. So this provides what, a very good environment for developing the Android applications. Okay, this is the next one. Android Studio provides what, rich development environment. The next advantage of Android is a product from Open Handset Alliance, OHA. OHA is termed as Open. So Open Handset Alliance, which is led by Android is a product from Open Handset Alliance, which is led by Google. What is the meaning of this statement and what is the advantage with this statement? What is the advantage with this statement? It's a product from Open Handset Alliance, which is led by what? Google. What is the advantage in this statement? So if you want to identify that advantage, what is the advantage and what is meant by Open Handset Alliance and all, we'll discuss about is history of Android. We'll discuss. Okay, so don't worry, I will not start from supercomputer. Okay, history of computers and all. Let's see here. The history of Android is in the year 2003. In the year 2003, one company started for developing a mobile platform. That company name is nothing but what? Android. In the year 2003, one company started for developing a mobile platform. That company name is nothing but what? Android is a company name. Okay. Later, in the year 2005, Google company identified about this Android. In the year 2005, a Google company identified about this Android. Okay, Google company identified about this Android. Already in the year 2005, this Android is having some financial crisis at that time in the year 2005. So then Google offered a huge amount of price to this Android. So immediately, so they also said okay for this one. So in the year 2005, the Google company purchased this Android. Then after purchasing this Android, Google is added its own specific features like maps, a Play Store, okay, a single account for all the Google operations, like your Google contacts, okay, so maps, so like Google Translator application. So after purchasing this Android in the year 2005, Google is added its own specific features to the Android platform. So in the year 2007, after adding its specific features, in the year 2007, Google is having its own mobile platform. But here Google wants to release this Android in the market, but Google identified one more thing. In the year 2007, these are the most popular platforms in the year 2007. Apple iOS, okay, Symbian, Nokia Symbian is a #1 platform at that time. Next, BlackBerry, iOS, Symbian, BlackBerry, and the last thing is Windows. Even the Windows is having its mobile version in the year 2007. These are the most popular platforms in the year 2007. Okay, these are the most popular platforms. There are a lot of mobile manufacturing companies are there. They are struggling a lot because of they don't have their own platform. Let's take here Samsung, Sony, HTC, Motorola, Acer, Asus, so Lenovo, Micromax. Like this, there are a lot of mobile manufacturing companies are there, and these people are struggling a lot because they don't have their own mobile platforms in the year 2007. Okay, so Google identified this. A lot of people are not having their own mobile platforms. They are depending on some other platforms. Okay, so here in the year 2007, Google identified this, and Google announced that I have a mobile platform, and Google started a community called Open Handset Alliance. And Google said any mobile manufacturing company, any mobile operators like this Airtel, Vodafone, Reliance, all these mobile operators, any mobile manufacturing company, any mobile operator can join into this Open Handset Alliance. So whoever will join into this Open Handset Alliance, they can get a product of what? Android. So it is a laddu kind of offer for all these companies. In this Samsung, Sony, HTC, Motorola, these people are struggling a lot because of they don't have their own mobile platforms in the year 2007. So they are depending on some other platforms. So it's a very good offer for these kind of companies. So immediately all these companies are joined into this Open Handset Alliance. I told you, right, whoever will join into this Open Handset Alliance, they only will get a product of what? So whoever will join into this Open Handset Alliance, they only will get a product of what? Android. If you want to get this Android platform, just join into what? Join into the Open Handset Alliance. So immediately all these people, this Samsung, Sony, HTC, Motorola, all these people are joined into the Open Handset Alliance. So whoever will join into this Open Handset Alliance, so they can access what? This Android they can access. Except these companies, this Apple, Nokia Symbian, BlackBerry, Windows, Microsoft Windows, except these 4 companies, majority of the companies are joined into this Open Handset Alliance. Now here, BlackBerry realized that individually we cannot do anything, better be a part of what? Open Handset Alliance. Okay. So now in the BlackBerry devices, we are getting the Android platform we are getting. I hope you are aware of that. Even the Nokia device also we are getting Android platform we are getting. The Nokia device also we are getting what? Android platform we are getting. So meaning this BlackBerry and Nokia is also joined into what? Open Handset Alliance. Now here, these are the platforms are available in the present market. These are the device platforms are available in the market: Android, iOS and Windows. Okay. See here, the present ratio in the market is nothing but 86% of the present ratio in the world is nothing but Android. 86% of the, meaning as per analysis I am telling you, 86% of the ratio is Android. Okay. So 12% of the market is for iPhone and 2% of the 2% ratio is for other smartphone platforms like Windows and other platforms like Firefox OS and all. Even now we will not consider this Windows also, because meaning personally I have not seen any latest updates from the last 1.5 year from Microsoft Windows on the mobile platforms. Even there is no any devices also. Earlier in the Nokia Lumia device we are getting this Windows platform. So now officially I think they are completely away from the mobile application development. Even we will not consider this, a Windows platform also we will not consider. Okay. So now here in the present market, these are the popular smartphone platforms available in the market. One is Android and second thing is what? iOS. Okay. See here, let's take, I have an idea with me. I want to implement that idea as an application. Okay. Definitely, which platform I choose first? Whether I choose Android or I choose iOS. Definitely, to implement that idea, I prefer to choose this Android only. Because if I develop my application in Android, it is going to reach to the 86% of the people it is going to reach in the market. So that's why majority of the clients concern nowadays is nothing but their priority is first Android. Then after that my second priority is iPhone. Okay. So majority of the clients nowadays are preferred to develop what? Android applications, because if you develop an Android applications, it is going to reach to the maximum people it will reach. That is one reason. Second thing is nothing but, if you take this 3 years back and 4 years back, if you have any idea, immediately in our mind will get, okay, it's this project will do in a web based project will do. But nowadays the clients are, for example, if you are getting any idea means immediately they will think as a mobile application. Here, why the clients are preferred to develop this Android application is because it will reach to the maximum people. It will reach to the maximum people it will reach if you develop an Android application than the other applications. Okay. So here another advantage is nothing but if only iOS is working, only if Apple people are working on iOS, but see here how many people are working on this Open Handset Alliance. So Samsung, Sony, HTC, Motorola, Acer, all these companies are working together for one single product, that is nothing but what? Android. Okay. So all are together working for only one single product, that is nothing but what? Android. So then initially it's a product of Google. So now all these companies are a part of Android application development, meaning all these are part of what? Open Handset Alliance. Okay. So now Android is a product from Open Handset Alliance. So definitely we need a person to maintain all these things, right? So that person is nothing but what? Google. Okay. Initially Google is the owner for Android, then after that Google started Open Handset Alliance. Any mobile manufacturing company, any mobile operator can join into this Open Handset Alliance. So whoever will join into this Open Handset Alliance, they will get a product of what? Android. So to maintain all these things we need a person. So that is nothing but what? Google. So Google Open Handset Alliance, which is led by what? Google. Okay. So advantage is nothing but all these manufacturing companies and all these mobile operators are working together for only one single platform, that is nothing but Android. Because of this huge percentage, now the clients are, their main preference is nothing but Android application. Okay. If my product is popular, then definitely if I am getting some revenue, if I am getting from my product, then definitely I will look into this iOS also. But the first concern of nowadays, every client concern is nothing but what? Android. Okay. So this is the advantage, and it is a product from Open Handset Alliance, which is led by Google. Let us see the last one. Android plays a key role in IoT. IoT is termed as Internet of Things. Android plays a key role in IoT. IoT is termed as what? Internet of Things. One of the hot topic in the present market, IoT. If you are following some technical articles, then you can find here what at least every day you'll get some articles, okay, about this IoT concepts. What exactly this IoT? So Android plays a key role in what? IoT. So IoT is termed as Internet of Things. Okay, what is the Internet of Things? So Internet of Things is nothing but a machine to machine communication is called as IoT. Meaning if one machine is communicating with other machine, that concept is called as what? IoT. Let's see best example what exactly this IoT concept is. For example, I have a class at 7 o'clock in NareshIT. Let's take an example. Every day I have a class in the morning at 7 o'clock in NareshIT. Okay. So basically, just for example I am telling you, okay. So I will wake up at 6:30, I will wake up, okay. I will go to the washroom and I will switch on the geyser. For hot water, okay, I will go to the washroom and I will switch on the geyser and I will come back and I will sleep up to 6:45, I will sleep. This is what is happening in my regular life every day. So wake up at 6:30, so go and switch on the geyser and come back and sleep up to what? Up to 6:45. My requirement is I want to make it automation. So I don't want to wake up at 6:30 and I don't want to just switch on and come back and sleep up to 6:45. I don't want to make this one. I don't want to make it as automation I want to make. So then how can you make it automation? Let's take here one of the solution for this one is, okay, you want to switch on the geyser at 6:30, you want to switch on the geyser automatically. We'll do one thing. We'll fix a timer kind of thing, we'll fix for this geyser to switch on automatically at 6:30. Yes, we can fix a timer kind of thing, we can fix in the geyser to start at 6:30. But the problem is, see, every day I will not be available in my home. For example, some days in the late nights I will stay in the office itself, I will stay and directly I will come back to the classes, for example. So then at that time, if you switch on the geyser at 6:30, unnecessary, it's a waste of power, correct or not? So I want to make it automation. Okay, one approach is nothing but just set a timer kind of thing for geyser. But what is disadvantage here? Sometimes I will not be available in my home. Okay, it's a waste of power if you switch on the geyser at 6:30 automatically. So this approach is okay, fine, but is there any other alternatives for this one? Because I don't want to waste that even that power also. Yes, one alternative is there. That is nothing but if I am in my home, definitely my phone also will be available in the home, correct or not? So here my phone is going to give an instruction to the geyser. So geyser, switch on. Mahesh is there in the home, so that's why I switch on the geyser. This is one alternative. So there is no timer in the geyser. We'll fix the time. We'll fix in the mobile. We'll fix the time. So this time we'll fix in the mobile. We'll fix the time. So when I'm in my home, definitely my phone also will be in my home only. Whenever the time is 6:30, my phone is going to give an instruction to the geyser via a Bluetooth signal or Wi-Fi signal. It is going to send an instruction. It is going to send to the geyser. Switch on the geyser. This is an alternative. So definitely, if I am not in my phone, definitely my phone also will not be in my home. Correct or not? So you cannot send the, let's take instruction is sending via Bluetooth. If you are in the home, it is going to send a Bluetooth signal within the range, particular range, 100 meters. If I am somewhere in the outside, somewhere, then my phone cannot send the instruction to this geyser, right? Okay. So basically, this kind of concept is called as IoT. Meaning here, my phone is communicating with what? A geyser, my phone is communicating. So a machine to machine communication is called as IoT. Nowadays, every person is carrying a machine. That machine is nothing but mobile phone. the other machine, it may be anything. It may be a geyser, it may be a washing machine, it may be an AC, it may be a computer, it may be a bike, it may be a car, it may be a light, even it may be a fan, it may be anything. So basically IoT is termed as Internet of Things. A machine to machine communication is called as IoT. Okay, so I have some tremendous experience with the IoT. I worked on IoT from the I'm working IoT R&D from the last 2.5 years. Okay, let's see here. In my experience, I am communicating with different medical devices. Basically, I'm working for a healthcare client. Okay, so from my application, I'm communicating with different medical devices. I'm communicating. So I'll show that sample videos. I'll show you what are the devices I'm communicating. Okay, one device which I'm working, which I designed the protocol for this one for communication. Okay, this is called as glucometer. Okay, this is called as glucometer, which will give your glucose values. So this is one device which I am communicating in my project. Okay, it's a glucometer, and see here clearly it's showing the Bluetooth symbol. From my application, I'm communicating with this device. I'm communicating via what? Bluetooth. This is one device which I worked. Okay, in my experience, and this is another device called pulse oximeter. Is another device.
Connection started from the app.
This is another device which I worked. It's called as a pulse oximeter. Basically, if you put a finger in this device, it is going to tell you your pulse value, what is the pulse and what is the oxygen levels. So this information you can get via this pulse oximeter. Okay, so in my application I integrated this pulse oximeter. To get the values from this pulse oximeter. There is one more device. Like this, total I worked almost with 5 devices. I worked: a glucometer, pulse oximeter, thermometer, weighing scale. Okay, and BP monitor. Like different devices I worked. I'll show you one more. Yeah, there's another device which I worked called weighing scale. This is called as weighing scale, meaning if you stand on this device, it is going to give the weight value it's going to give, and directly this device, meaning these two devices are communicating. My application is communicating with this weighing scale, it is communicating to get the values. Okay, this is another device I worked. So like this, I worked with almost all 5 devices I worked, and this is the best example for this IoT concepts. Especially in healthcare sector, you can find a lot of changes you can find in the coming days with the help of these IoT concepts. Okay, so a great thing is, even in this IoT also, Android plays a key role. I told you, right, a device to device communication is called as IoT. A machine to machine communication is called as IoT. One machine is common, that is phone. Other machine, it may be anything. It may be a geyser, it may be a medical device, it may be a weighing scale, it may be a TV, it may be a bike, it may be car, it may be any device. But one device is common. What is that one? Mobile phone. In this mobile phone also, majority of the users are using the Android phones. Okay, that's why I use the term in IoT. Android plays a key role in IoT. I'll show you one more video file, best example for this IoT. There is a concept called beacons. Let's see here.
Smart beacons present relevant information to your device based on the context of where you are. Now in Android and iOS 7, your device scans for any nearby beacons in the background as you move around. And when you want info about something you're near, it's ready to swipe on your notification screen. So if you take out your phone as you pass a new restaurant, you can see their lunch specials or menu reviews. Since your phone knows that you just arrived at the table with the red beacon, the menu will be ready when you pick up your phone. So if you're in a hurry, you can send your order straight to the kitchen. You can have beacons at home too. So if your context is the kitchen and you're near the fridge, your shopping list will be ready and waiting when you look at your phone. And then when you walk by the beacon in the dairy aisle, your phone can give you a reminder to make sure you don't forget to pick up milk. And because the range awareness for beacons is sensitive down to a few inches, it can tell what you're closest to or what product you pick up. So when you look at your phone, it'll already show product information or let you know if your size is in stock or let you see what other colors are available. And then you can order it right from your phone. And if you've been at the restaurant for a while, your phone will be ready if you want to order another drink or pay the check with the push of a button. Your phone is always with you.
This is another best example for this IoT concepts called as beacon. Even in my 2 projects I work these beacons. One is for indoor navigation, okay, and one more thing in the airport we use this beacon, okay. So this is another market for the Android developers. Even in IoT also, Android plays what? a key role in IoT. Okay, so these are some of the great advantages of Android. I have not explained some stupid advantages like a low cost or these kind of things. Okay, so I hope you guys will understand. Okay, these are the major advantages of what? Android. Okay, so thank you. And the next video I'll explain you about Android components. I'll explain you. Thank you. Okay, so thank you, and in my next video I'll explain about the Android Studio environment, and we'll try to see our first hello world program. We'll try to see. Okay, thank you.